about science as the new science.
Yeah, the new science.
See, nobody sees Quranic science, ilm, as real science.
But
They distinguish between science with $sign, that's science for them, and ilm is something else.
yeah,
When you talk about technology, nobody knows. The technology is unsustainable if it is not based on real science. Nobody knows.
but a point I noticed in his post was that at least he had the perception that the Quran does have content or understanding and concepts of science. Though he was not criticizing and questioning the
You see,
theories.
that one is common. It's not new. Everybody knows that Quran has science, but what do they do? They believe in science with $sign first, then they go to Quran, say, MashaAllah, Quran also talks about Big Bang. MashaAllah, Quran also talks about sun exploding. That's completely upside down. You remember the word preposterous? It's upside down. Quran is the standard. And that's why every conclusion they make, every conclusion from that, some of them I posted, is exactly opposite to the truth. One of them I probably shared, they said, Subhanallah, Quran talked about it 1400 years ago, that the sun is exploding and sun is producing this rays. Quran talks about the same. Quran talks about when day of judgment. That time, Quran, sun is exploding, and they are comparing with now. It's completely wrong-headed. Quran talks about expanding universe. New science talks about expanding universe from where? From nothing to hydrogen molecules, hydrogen atoms. Completely different. You're talking about a false source with a real source. What is the first creation in Quran? Water. Is it H2O? Of course not. Is it hydrogen? Of course not. So this is the problem. We try to find similarity here and there and say, oh, this is it. We have concluded. This is final. Anyway, today somebody recite Baqarah 87-88, please.
Yeah.
Baqarah 87-88. Where is everybody today?
Lot of students are so busy on their duties. That is
Isn't that?
There is exhibition. You might have been informed about that exhibition.
Okay.
So many students have been given some tasks.
yeah.
And they cannot find time for this. All right.
They are so under pressure, so from
Yeah.
the office to work hard, work over there.
No, they will come. They will come. Some of them will come, inshallah.
Baqarah 287-88.
Shall we start, sir?
Yes.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ومنهم أميون لا يعلمون الكتاب إلا أماني وإن هم إلا
87.
يظنون
87. Bawati.
Baqarah 87.
Bawati.
ولقد آتينا يا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
ولقد آتينا موسى الكتاب وقفينا من بعده بالرسل وآتينا عيسى ابن مريم البينات وأيدناه بروح القدس أفكلما جاءكم رسول بما لا تهوى أنفسكم استكبرتم ففريقا كذبتم وفريقا تقتلون وقالوا قلوبنا غلف بل لعنهم الله بكفرهم فقليلا ما يؤمنون صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We recited Baqarah 87, 88. This is a very important one. This is right after Allah described Bani Israel or New Bani Israel as the worst of creature. Allah warned them of the worst punishment. Right after, Allah is recounting why they rejected prophets. It's very important. They were not idiots. They were all mu'min, isn't it? Every prophet had mu'min behind them. They came with books. What happened? Why did they reject? What is the word? It doesn't fit their hawa. That's it. They never said you're illogical. They never said that you're not from Allah. You are making this up. They knew. Yet, because it's hurt their ego, it did not satisfy them. Their message was against their hawa. That's why what did they do? They call them liar. Then they kill them. Who are the scientists? Who are the prophets today? We know Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is gone. Who is the prophet? Who are the prophets? Who are the inheritors? The alim. Every alim is rejected because it does not satisfy their hawa. Who are these groups? Surah Zakiyah 45:23. Furqan 25:43. Allah confirms they take Hawa, their Hawa as their God, as their Ilah. This is it. They have replaced literally Allah with their Hawa themselves. They are looking for satisfaction. What is it? Why are you talking about this? Remember what Shaitan promised? By the way, for those, there is a Western saying that says, Shaitan's biggest accomplishment is to convince people that he doesn't exist. Yesterday I was talking to a brother. He could not see the role of Shaitan in technology development. In the West, it's well known. Shaitan's biggest accomplishment, he doesn't exist. It's bigger than Allah doesn't exist. Atheists are not as brutal as the one who does not recognize the role of Shaitan. I bet you never heard this discussion that we are talking about Shaitan's promise and we are connecting it to technology. If you do not see the connection, I urge you to dig deep. What is wrong with you? Which Hawa am I attacking? Third promise of Shaitan. First promise was Dalala, destroy the education system. Second promise was to invoke desire, lust for money. That's the economic subject. Money for sex, money and control. Third, slit the ears of the cattle. Why would you do that? This is very typical. I have quoted 204. They are ordering now. He's not inspiring anymore, he's ordering because they're done. They have become Zalin, right? They have submitted. Now he's ordering it out. First order, cut the ear of the cattle. What that has to do with anything? You see in next few days, what's your name?
Abdullah.
Abdullah, why are you looking down?
Someone.
You pay attention to the class, please, okay? Because it's disruptive. Please put away your phone.
Someone from my college sticks it in.
Okay, do not respond. Tell them you're busy. You see, this is the point. Now Shaitan is ordering, and why? Always you'll find it has to do with Hawa. It has to do with money, and money is the source. We do not cut cattle's ear for randomly. It doesn't do us any good because we want to make money. Why money? Money for sex, money for money's sake, money for control. And that's how we connect to economics. Nobody does anything for randomly. They're not crazy. They have a purpose. And that's why I quoted 204. This is the typical of hypocrites. They all come to you with the promise that, oh, we want to benefit you. This is called advertisement. Every advertisement will go over it. Every advertisement is a lie. Not one. There was no advertisement in the past. You realize that. Advertisement is a new thing. And it's a lie. Start with a lie. So if you talk about slitting the ear of the cattle, what does it stand? Today's, you see that? Have you ever seen chicken or hen like that before? It did not exist. Chickens are supposed to be colorful.
Yeah.
Even as a baby, as a little chick, they are yellow. They were white. What happened? You see how Shaitan convinced us? And why? Because you want to make money. So this chicken is no longer this chicken. If you put one drop of toilet water in your milk, is that drinkable anymore? One drop. If you have a community, you have one munafik, that community is gone. It's enough to pollute the whole group. Same way, if you have injected anything that alters the makeup, it's not chicken anymore. That's not edible. But you're making money. Fourth, now ordering deface the nature of Allah's creation. Everything. That's why I posted. Have you seen that article I posted?
Yes.
In WhatsApp group?
Yeah.
Everything has changed. Now we say, what can you do, sir? Everything is that we cannot do without. You know what? Have you ever seen a drug addict?
Yeah. Well,
Only thing he says, I want drug. I cannot live with that. And I told you last week, that the state of today is we are addicted to drug. We cannot see anything beyond. Tell the drug addict, do this, have good food. He said, I don't care. I just want the drug. Do you have any idea how many drug addicts were here in this country, in this province, when during Fatah?
Intelligence.
No, I heard 2 million. 2 million. They were all cleaned up in 6 months.
Just in Kabul?
Yes, those are Kabul centers. There are about 30 some rehab centers. They treated 2 million people. It's what I was told. If those 2 million people had a say, then Taliban government will be the first step. They will say, you are oppressing us. We want drug. We don't want anything. Would that be acceptable? During Prophet's time, there were 700 types of alcohol. How long does it take to ban them all? Bachas are dancing, even in this country. Opium, 90% of the opium was supplied by Afghanistan. How long does it take Taliban to cut it off? 0. Did that create an imbalance? Did that create chaos? It's absurd, the notion. So why are you doing this? We're fine. We don't need to change anything. This is working. Why do we become like that? Because Shaitan has played the trick. Number one trick, Dalala. Completely made us dumb, deaf, and blind. If you have any doubt, see what it is. Age 22. Allah calls him the lowliest of creature, the one who cannot use akal.
Yeah.
Yes.
One way for the treatment of patient is homeopathic.
I know.
This is a good way?
No. We'll discuss that. As a matter of fact, I wanted to 1 2-hour session on. I have some YouTubes also. I want 2-hour session on medical. Because medical pharmaceutical engineering is real science that has made a lot of. See, number one industry, most profit making is chemical industry. Number 2, weapons, defense.
Yes.
Number 3, pharmaceutical. Number 4, energy companies.
One question I had regarding your lecture today, when Muhammad, peace be upon him, go to Medina, they has a garden of dates.
Yeah.
They did something Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
I remember that hadith. Yes.
You remember?
Yeah, I know that hadith. I know that very well, and I also
yes.
we can discuss that. But I also know he was right. He saw a certain way of pollinating, and he was surprised. What was his worry about? You see, he's the scientist. Who is the greatest scientist of all time? Abdullah. Who is the greatest scientist of all time?
According to Western science?
No, I don't care. According to your knowledge.
For Muslims, we have to say that Prophet Muhammad was the best.
I don't know if you have to say or not. Who is your heart, from your heart, who is the greatest scientist of all time?
My
Currently,
Prophet.
That's right. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you.
Ibrahim.
No.
His name is Ibrahim, yeah.
Ibrahim, sorry, Ibrahim. Who is the greatest scientist of all time?
Allah is the creator.
Yeah, of course, Allah. I'm talking about him. You're right. Allah is Allah.
Yeah.
Right? You're right. This is very correct. But among humans, Prophet Muhammad. So when he saw they are doing it a strange way, he found it strange. Why? Because they were interfering with the natural system.
Thank you. Now, related to the field of study of Ustaz Said,
Agriculture.
in agriculture, plant genetic, they make changes in the gene of plants
Yes.
to have
That's
more
why I asked this
product.
question. How does GMO fall in this? You have changed the nature. So what does GMO does? What does GMO do? It changes the source. Remember? It changes the source. This chicken was real chicken,
Yes,
but they injected hormone. They injected
Steroids.
antibiotic, steroid. That made the change, but it came from an egg, right? That was real. Source is real. It messed up the process. So for
by passing of time,
by doing GMO, you're changing the source.
Yes.
So everything is gone. That's what we call aspartame. Aspartame doesn't have real source. It doesn't have a real process, right? Yes.
When it comes to that sugar, the first one was honey, then sugar, then saccharin, and then aspartame.
Yes.
So aspartame, we can, we don't need to have energies like that or saccharins. But when it comes to sugar, or the things like which are artificially produced, but the consumption level is very high. So how people can?
This is the catch. You see, in economics, first thing they ask, okay, the new economics is how much profit will you make. In Islam, first thing you ask, is it halal? It doesn't matter how much profit. If profit is lost, you see, riba gives you the guaranteed profit. But that's completely unacceptable. So you do not even ask that question. Why? Why is it logical to not worry about that part? Who is the provider? Only time Allah took oath on His own name when He said, your risk is guaranteed. I give you. He's the Razak. He's the Razak. So it's not your job. You see, Islam is not pragmatism. The outcome is already fixed. You cannot change that. Isn't that what believing in Qadr means? Is everything is fixed. So it's not your business to worry about it. Your business is to make sure that your intentions are to please Allah.
But
that's what we are coming.
Using akal. So
yes.
Yeah, I consider sugar as harmful for the body of the family. So, but
first thing in research, you say, why is it harmful? Right? Always ask, because they add 30 plus chemicals. To catch that.
To make it white.
To make it white. So why is it needed? You know why? Because it will sell more. They know that. They deliberately did that. Plus, you know what happens? It becomes addictive. And today, look it up. You guys do not have the practice of a habit of searching the latest research. Latest research shows sugar is more addictive than cocaine. And nobody knows. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. What are they saying? I have been eating sugar. My forefathers have been eating sugar. Again, worshipping the forefathers who did not have any akal. So you have to wonder why, and then you can quickly see, because you added 30 plus chemicals. That's where you catch. So how do you eliminate that? Then we are talking about good. Is it good? What is it called? Molasses. You eliminate that. You eliminate all other chemicals. You eliminate the electric process. You use firewood or coal. You have molasses. That one is 100% okay. It's like manufactured honey. Nothing wrong with it. But it's not white. Is the point? So what Shaitan does, he fascinates you. That's why I give that one. He fascinates you. They have good speech. Look, it's white. Everybody is buying it. And everybody paid more money to get white, which is extremely harmful to you. And nobody noticed. Even Bin Laden had kidney problem. Because nobody told them that what shaitan played the trick. They were incapable of seeing the science behind it. Because I know, I've shared with you. Even though your heart doesn't accept. Even though your forefathers have told something different. If I don't do that, I will be accountable to Allah. That's the Holy Spirit.
Thank you.
So here, final promise is deface every creation. Change every creation. And that's why I said, look around. Do you see anything real?
No.
Anything. I challenge you to look around this building, this room, anything you find, including light. Zero. Don't you feel suffocated? Don't you think this is the time Prophet Muhammad talked about? That you cannot find anything. You cannot even breathe. So what did he say? Go away and bite the root of a tree. The time is arrived there, but it's in your hand. That's why we have a research topic. We're teaching you, we're learning how to change that. If you are already in sujood with the West, then this is not the place for you. You would not ever see. Your status in that case is like the one slobbering on his face in Surah Mulk. The one who is slobbering on his face, can he be the same as the one who is walking straight? First day in orientation, I showed a slide that shows if you are looking upside down, progress looks like decline, and decline looks like progress. We turn the curve around, if you recall. I had a picture of two eyes. So if you're looking at waste as the correct one, then everything we talk about is false. It will hurt your ego constantly. So I cannot take this anymore. Because you have to turn around. That's why first lecture was orientation. You have to orient. If you are standing on your head, stand up. Otherwise, you cannot make any progress. If your heart is not in it, first topic, intention. If your heart is not in it, this is not the place for you. Because you get nothing. So why did Shaitan do all this? What is it to him? His target is not the chicken. His target is not sugar. His target is us. He wants to change us. So we are surrounded by artificial. We are breathing artificial. We cannot think anything other than artificial. What happens then? We become his slave. He controls it completely. If you change the surrounding, there's no escape. That's the whole notion of imprisoning somebody. So Shaitan has imprisoned us completely. We cannot even see. If somebody comes in and says, we have to get out, you are attacking him. Just like the verse we saw today. They're killing prophets. The only one Bani Israel attacked is Musa. Did you hear Bani Israel make a protest against Pharaoh? Did Karun set up any other person than Musa? It's only Musa the target. Because they have fully inducted by Shaitan, taking every order from him. First he creates Dalala. Second he instills lust. Third he changes the nature, human nature. That human nature is the only asset we have. Allah created us with that nature. And Allah made sure that we have enough to be His Khalifa. And that's the norm Shaitan changed. And what is their setting? It's akhlaq. Why is akhlaq? What does akhlaq mean? It's the factory setting. Right? Akhlaq is the factory setting. When you buy something, it says this is the operation rule. If you pour water in this, it's no longer, warranty is no longer valid because you violated. So our akhlaq that Allah created us with is violated once you just go to sujood to shaitan. We are no longer Khalifa. We are not going to return, as Allah said. We will not return to Him if you are in that state, dumb, deaf, and blind state. So you are gone. We are just wasting ourselves. The only way you can get back is to do research. And that's why this topic, before we even go to economics, before we even go to akhlaq, we have to say, what is research? And this is the research course. The whole course is on research, isn't it? Research, if you look for, this is something that I have mentioned many times. First thing you see, what is it in Arabic, right? Then what is it in Quran? So these terms are floated around. Bahas and tahqiq. First one actually means discussion. Discussion is not research. You're just chit-chatting. Second one is seeking the truth, but actual meaning is investigation. But when it comes to seeking the truth, I told you, and I think in the very first class I said, what is the most important question I asked? Is what is true? Somebody saying, particle can be in uniform motion. If particle can be in uniform motion, is it true or false? Simple. Particle can be at rest, is it true or false? We can make a particle have uniform motion, is it true or false? Most important question. So you have to know what is true before you can judge. Starting point is you have to be able to research, you have to be able to tell if it is true or false. Without that criterion, you cannot move forward at all. In 2003, I discovered this. Then I wrote that book at that time, coupling education with research. Meaning, education as you see today is training. It's not research. I said it has to be changed to research. Because no education is actually education unless it's research. And why people think I'm praising minaret? This is very irony, because the message is completely different. Why did I do that? Because your connection to Allah is important. Education, where the truth comes from, historically, only source of truth. Do you know, even in ancient Chinese, even in Chinese language, prophet is called first one to know among human. Isn't the education about knowing things, right? First one to know is prophet. The very first is Allah. Knowledge comes from Allah. It's very clear. So you have to have connection with Allah for your education. And you cannot do that if you are not doing research. So from deductive logic, we mentioned many times, truth is whatever comes from Allah. And what is the book? Who is going to tell us what Allah is saying? He doesn't talk to us. Quran. It's very simple. But there is another one that is there. Truth. Allah's creation. In nature. Not Shaitan's creation. Shaitan's creation will give you another.
Visible eye.
It is a visible ayah, but okay, it is very simple. What is the law that created this? Is it Allah's law or human law? We are assuming that human law can create anything. Can it? No. We molest it. So if this is artificial, the law still is Allah's law, because Allah is the only one who makes laws. It doesn't exist. Nothing can exist without Allah's process. So when you have contaminated, it's still there, but it's not real. How do you know? In 1670, Allah says, the one who creates and who doesn't, Allah is the only creator. There is no other khaliq. Allah creates, but it's not even allowing it to create. It's Allah created this 100%, because nothing exists without Allah's creation. So why are we getting blamed? Because we allowed our hawa to take over. We knew this was wrong. We knew this was pollutant. Everybody knows. Particularly the West knows very well that this is terrible for us. And that's the source of unsustainable technology.
As the Quran says, Subhanaka la ilma lana
Yes.
illa ma 'allamtana.
Exactly. We
Innaka
do not have anything.
alimul hakim.
No other source. The angels are saying that.
We are responsible for the ilm to use akal
Yes.
in not
With the intention of pleasing Allah. No other intention. Not even intention to make money. Only to please Him. And that we failed. We cannot change anything else. It's part of Qadr. Everything else is part of Qadr. So those two, it's very rare, because Ibn Rushd talked about Quran as the only source, but nobody talked about the ayah, the readable ayah, the visible ayah. We did in 2007. That's the economics book. Keep asking to upload, and he's not uploading. I don't know. I'll upload myself, because it's very important. We are the first one to introduce that as a fact. Whatever Allah created is a fact.
This is one of my questions.
Yeah.
Do we know, and everyone believe that you cannot ignore religion, Islam, in any part of life.
Yeah.
But why science? Why it was missed for so long?
This is the thing. That's why I keep referring to Shaitan. Okay? Shaitan played the trick right from the beginning. I'm not talking about now, but from Adam onward, right? So every sustainable technology came to us as sustainable through prophets. And I have a list of the technology that we do not have anymore, the prophets have. They brought sustainable technology. Sustainable technology became unsustainable after Newton. It was not before. See, this is the last phase of Shaitan. Shaitan did not interfere with the technology before. It was used badly. For instance, pharaohs were using for worshipping cats or whatever they're doing, or mummifying. But the technology itself was sustainable. After Newton, Shaitan has a new weapon. Since all technologies before Newton are sustainable, all of them are unsustainable after. And that's why Shaitan's last phase is make everything artificial. It started with Newton. Last century, we call it plastic century. Is plastic real? Of course artificial. Right? We do not have any, just look around. We do not have energy source that is natural. We do not have matter source that is natural. We do not simply have it. Who has it? In the villages, and we call them uncivilized. and you dread the thought of being like them. Biggest problem of Afghanistan today is that they're savages. Your strength has become the reason to call you savage. It's like calling prophet liar or terrorist, which they do all the time. Same guys, they are worshipping their science, call Prophet Muhammad the biggest terrorist. Isn't it true? These guys who invented all this, and you are worshipping them, they call Prophet Muhammad the biggest terrorist. Look around, even now, biggest problem in Europe, this is Islam. Yesterday, Italian Prime Minister was saying that. Biggest problem of Europe is Islam. But you're looking at them for solutions. Because why? Because you do not see the distinction between science and shaitanic science.
No Muslim guy burn Bible, but they burn the Holy Quran
all the time.
They are
See, but worship them, literally worship them. The biggest user of COVID vaccine was Muslim countries. I showed you last week, wasn't it last week, that the most wasteful lifestyle is Qatar.
Yes.
By next UAE. So these Muslims are worshipping them. I told you in Canada, Muslim woman, why? She got third appointment for third COVID vaccine. So we have become Bani Israel. We have become the target of Shaitan, the biggest, most loved target of Shaitan. And that Prophet Muhammad predicted. Wasn't that the hadith? They're very clear. So what happens with this research? You have to have this process. It starts with the Quran. You do not go to Quran to justify anything. That's upside down. It starts with the Quran. Then seeing the context of hadith. Quran alone is not enough. Then we have to scale up now. Then we decide how often we wait for this. Somebody says something, I don't like it. We use the upside down mode. We decide already, I don't like you. Because you're saying something that does not meet my hawa. You see the process? We have turned it upside down. We are supposed to, Quran 1736 tells us, do not do anything until you have full knowledge. We don't wait for the full knowledge. Seeking full knowledge is research. And we have been brainwashed to say, I don't like it. Brother, what are you saying? I've been eating sugar for 30 years. I'm not dead yet. A smoker, 80-year-old, said, what are you talking about? I'm 80-year-old, I'm Chinese smoker. A cancer patient, woman, 75-year-old, he still smokes, non-Muslim, of course. Nothing changed their mind. So in Arabic, those are the terms. You have qiyas, you have Quran, hadith, qiyas, and then qarar. Qarar, the decision comes last. In inductive logic, you observe anything. I talked about Benjamin Netanyahu. He observed the same thing, but his conclusion was the opposite. You know about Hamas. He said Hamas is so bad that they're abusing our prisoners, and that's why we are not releasing any more terrorists, according to him. What was the data? What was the fact? Hostages were kissing the Hamas guy. That became his evidence that Hamas is terrible. See, if your intention is not good, you cannot be guided. Your conclusion will obviously be wrong. So repeatedly, your intention matters. It doesn't matter what, even Allah comes down with angels, your intention is not good, you will not see it. Dajjal comes with kafir written on him, still majority Muslims would not follow, would not say it. Why? Because we have processed ourselves not to research. Good intention is the fundamental, first criteria. And what is good intention? Please Allah. Good is not, oh, I want to do benefit to the, no, you're lying. Nobody kills himself for benefit of mankind. You are doing it for your own power. You want to be hero. So don't lie. At least don't lie to yourself. You say, is my intention to please Allah, or am I doing this for other reason? If you have other reason, stop right there. Do yourself a service. Do nothing. That's a lot better than going out. First example of inductive logic is Prophet Ibrahim. We saw the sun and the moon and he concluded. So he can observe and he can come to right conclusion. That's a valid process in research. So both deductive and inductive logic, they require good intention. Otherwise, you will go nowhere. On top, deductive logic needs scaling up. So does inductive logic. So what, you're seeing something, how do you scale it up now? For your application. You always have to scale. So qiyas is necessary. Allah ordered, this is an order. Evildoer brings to you any news. Do you know any scientist who is not evildoer today? Any scientist? But we get their theory and say, this is true. Isn't it true? Have you ever questioned Newton, Einstein, or Kepler? Have you ever questioned them? Have you ever been told that you have to question the validity of their assumptions? No. We take them as truth. Yet Allah orders us, do not proceed